Yeah, it's been a busy day here at the state capitol as people have been moving into position. State Capitol Police making sure everything has been well managed and watched over. That has certainly been the case. A lot of reactions coming in now. We're going to bring in Vera Lyon from the ACLU of Mississippi with reaction to this ruling now.
I'm devastated. I'm angry. As an attorney, we're taught to respect the role of the Supreme Court, but I'm finding we increasingly cannot respect the positions of an extremist court. We have justices who, during their confirmation hearings, straight up lied to Congress and the American people that they respected the precedent of Roe v. Wade, and today they took that away and stripped it from pregnant people.
The ruling moves the measure back into state control. What does the ACLU do at this point in the state of Mississippi?
We are going to advocate for legislation that preserves a pregnant person's right to make a choice about their body. We'd like to look at getting the ballot initiative back. In 2011, Mississippians vehemently rejected the Personhood Amendment, which would have given a fetus personhood at the time of conception. So we know that Mississippians do not necessarily agree with the ruling of the court today. We're also looking at litigation angles to challenge this in court.
How can you challenge it when the state is considered pro-life across its borders?
It's difficult, but there was a case that was brought in Florida recently by Jewish plaintiffs because under the Jewish religion, a fetus is not fully a human until birth. So they're challenging this restriction on abortion as a restriction of their religious freedom.
What do you say to people who may need abortion information now, knowing that the abortion access in Mississippi is all but done?
There are websites. The ACLU of Mississippi will be providing information. We're also part of the Mississippi Abortion Access Coalition. We will be posting links to abortion funds where you can get financial funding to obtain an abortion out of state. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be increasingly difficult for women, particularly women of color and lower socioeconomic means, to obtain reproductive health care at this point.
You knew this was coming when you look at how many times the legislature was going to keep bringing measures. Did you not expect the Supreme Court to issue this type of ruling, though, after President Trump had appointed 3 conservative justices?
I did. And, again, this is a court that does not reflect the majority of the American people. Our system is really being called into question right now. President Trump lost the popular vote by 40 million people, yet was able to instate 3 justices. President Obama could have put on a justice, but thanks to the machinations of Mitch McConnell, was unable to seat Merrick Garland. So we have an increasingly conservative court that is not reflecting the will of the American people.
Vera Lyon with the ACLU Mississippi. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. So a lot of reaction, of course, still coming in from lawmakers and other policy holders, you might say, in this debate over abortion in Mississippi. The plan, as I understand it now going forward, the Attorney General has 10 days to sign the measure, and then it will be up to the Secretary of State, Michael Watson, to publish it and before making it official in the state of Mississippi. Live at the state capitol, Scott Simmons, 16 WAPT.